Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are back in the Preussen and I'm going to try a different build on the Preussen to see if it's worth trying out. So I'm running Clara in Tesla. We have Colorado and Andrew Cunningham as our inspirations. Trying to get some of the grouping back because that's the biggest issue that I've had with this. But yeah, we're basically going full reload. We have boomsticks. We're running crisscross, on second thought, master mechanic, and fight fire with fire as our commander skills. We are running the aiming systems mod 1, steering gears mod 2, concealment system mod, and we are running the epic main battery mod 3, getting a little bit faster reload time. So we have completely negated the traverse speed nerf that we get by taking this perk. So keep that in mind. But yeah, let's look at the loadout real quick, or not loadout, but the specs. So we have the turrets traversing in 27.9 seconds, which is better than some cruisers out there, believe it or not. But again, these are 18-inch guns that are reloading in under 18 seconds. I feel like that's pretty balanced, right? But yeah, with all of that being said, let's go ahead and get to the gameplay so you guys can see this thing in action. Alrighty, so we're going to be on North, and we are in the Preussen with a full reload build. Well, a mostly full reload. I think you could probably sneak out a little bit extra on this if you really tried, but roughly equivalent, you know? So, the thought process, why did I choose this? Well, because it's possible, and you guys know that there are certain times where I try to do some things that I think are just going to be meme-worthy, and I thought that having 18-inch guns capable of reloading in sub-18 seconds was pretty meme-worthy. Why do I think this will or will not work? Well, you're going to see pretty early on that the accuracy takes a pretty decisive hit. Now, this being one of the more accurate battleships at Legendary Tier, I figured maybe it's accurate enough, right? And I talk about this a lot. When I say accurate enough, I think people don't understand what I mean by that. Basically, I mean, more salvos than not go where you want them, right? That is the underlining meaning behind accurate enough, right? If it's accurate enough and you can substantially reduce the reload, then you're getting a benefit. However, if that turns out to not be the case, like you get into a match and you start firing the guns and you start looking like a French battleship all of a sudden, then you're like, maybe this reload isn't all that's cracked up to be. And that's kind of where I'm at with the Preussen. I like the Preussen, believe it or not. I know a lot of people probably think I'm being facetious here, but I don't. I actually like the ship. It makes the GK a little bit more reliable. And why I keep bringing it up with about the GK, it's got the same hull as the GK. It's literally a GK, just different turrets. That's it. But anyway, I digress. I've never had a problem with the GK's guns. The GK's guns are pretty good. But the problem with the GK that I've always had is the rear turret's firing arcs. They're terrible. There's no getting around that. It just is. Not only is it a big, slow battleship, but it has the worst firing arcs in the game for the rear turrets, and that makes for a real bad time when you're holy mother of... that does not look accurate enough, does it? But if you look at the salvo, it actually turned out to be quite decent. Didn't do a lot of damage necessarily, but it at least hit more often than it didn't. And so I'm kind of a toss-up. Like, this ship kind of is falling in the I'm not convinced, but I'm not assuaded. I think that's the word to it. Not persuaded, it's assuaded, right? Is that the word? I'm not against it. I could understand why somebody would choose to go with a full reload build. It's kind of funny in certain situations. Now, if you're going to be spending a lot of your time at range trying to snipe people, you're probably not going to get the full benefit of having a full reload build because more often than not, your shells are going to look sadness. But I want you guys to pay attention to what's going on the map. Left flank pushes into Charlie very early on, and they are going to get absolutely raffle stomped. Everybody else on the team has decided that this flank is the flank to go to, for whatever reason. Okay? This is not a good strategy. We've talked about this many a times. But another thing, our destroyer is going to do everything in his power to not spot for the team. And I don't get this. And he doesn't get into the cap either. And we talk about this all the time. Not to discourage the player or not to talk bad about the player. I simply call the stuff as I see it so that you guys can learn from it so that you understand what I'm meaning. The cap has nobody in it. There's no destroyer around here. It's only a Dalian and a Preussen here. So the fact that our destroyer is going all the way around the cap, like tiptoeing around everything, is just wasting time. Time that could very well be the difference between the winning and losing of this game, as you will see later on in the match. Points, caps, are so crucial in a game like this, in a domination mode game. Caps and points are going to win you games. Yes, you still end up killing everybody most of the time, or everybody dies most of the time, but the amount of times that I've had games that I can simply just run away and preserve a win because we have the points lead, and the amount of times that I can be a little bit more passive and allow enemies to come to me because we have a points lead while we defend caps is far greater than the amount of times that I've been able to salvage a win by killing everybody in a match in domination where I'm fighting from behind, right? You have to be super aggressive, you have to go after the enemy, and they have to be absolutely goof to throw the match, right? Preussen comes out from behind his island, just does not care that I exist, and I don't know why, because we're in the same ship. He should be fully capable of understanding what's going on, and our destroyer does land some torpedoes, and I mean, there's 80 gajillion... Oh, look at that salvo, though. Beautiful. But of course, in true Spartan fashion, we got to leave him just enough for the rear turret of justice to come through. But this next shot is going to be one of those where we talk about knocking on people's doors. Don't knock on doors you don't want to have answered, right? Say it all the time. This guy doesn't even know we exist. I'm about to shoot at him. I'm going to hit him. I'm going to do some damage. He's then going to go out of his way to target me from then on. Now, Puerto Rico radar's here, and shockingly, it actually works out. He gets the Dalian radar in his smokescreen, and the team is going to start to get rid of this guy. I'm going to aim at him, and this is why I say that this is maybe not quite accurate enough. It's right there, and you see the shots coming in from the Yamato. Thankfully, he's just not a good shot. But the consistency that we love out of the Preussen, the whole reason that the Preussen is so nasty is because it's consistent, right? But you lose that when you go for a full reload build. Now, that to be said, it's still pretty good most of the time. So again, it's one of those situations where I'm kind of torn. I don't know if I completely am behind the reload build, or if I would prefer to have every shot be basically railguns. I don't know. I'm kind of torn. Again, there's no like definitive proof that this is the way or this is not the way. It's one of those oddball situations. I guess it's a what is that called when you have dealer's choice. We'll call it dealer's choice. You know what I mean? It really is kind of like you can absolutely run a reload boost and do fine. But is it really better than the other one? Who knows? It's hard to tell. So I don't persuade. Now this shot on the Wisconsin is going to probably go, I think that's accurate enough. As we land 6 out of 8 shells on that man's broadside, hitting him for over 20,000 damage. Yeah, kind of crazy. Now, given the fact that we really haven't had a whole heck of a lot to shoot at in this match, I do want to kind of showcase, like, paying attention to what's around us. Now, here, I'm going to try to get the front guns to go around the island. I end up firing both guns here. Shouldn't have done that. It's a habit of double pulling the trigger twice, salvo firing. I should have fired the front guns and then waited and then fired the rear guns once they cleared. But anyway, we didn't hit him either way. And now he's going in to torpedo my Vermont. And so I'm going to try to send this man to the Shadow Realm before he gets his torpedoes away. Unfortunately, I don't. He's already got his torpedoes away, and I still only land 2 shells and leave the man with just enough to continue being a problem. Fortunately, before our Vermont gets obliterated, he does manage to send the Schlieffen to the Shadow Realm, and shockingly, he's still alive. I don't know how you managed to miss it. Never mind. Remember those slow torpedoes that always get me? Yeah, those are the ones. Oof. And another broadside Wisconsin gets slapped for over 25,000 damage. I think it was 28 that time. But again, why are you turning your broadside in any ship to any battleship? Like, there's no excuse for it. Now, I am very well aware of the Wisconsin that I just shot in going into the Bravo cap coming around my left flank. And you can see, now that I realize that our Wisconsin that's out here is about to die, I'm going to turn back and try to deal with the other threat. Now, Gearing, to his credit, does manage to land some torpedoes in this match, which is great, but he still doesn't really do his job as a spotter or anything during this match. Unfortunately, our defense is about to go down here. Burns to death of the Gearing. I'm going to try to push in on this enemy Wisconsin. Now, what do we know about the Wisconsin? Well, it's an Iowa-class battleship that's got pretty good armor, good speed, and has a reload booster. Right, guys? We know he has a reload booster. He also has somebody spotting, and you can see I do get into the chat, and I am begging our Gearing to help spot here. Now, the Alaska starts shooting me, but I am aware that there's a Wisconsin to my left. Now, who's the bigger threat to me? Is it the reload boosting Iowa class or the Alaska that's off my bow? I would argue it's the reload boosting Iowa class. So the Wisconsin is my priority in this situation. Now, Alaska is absolutely a good target to go for because he still has a radar. And that's when the Gearing gets spotted. Now, we knew the Gearing was over here because the Gearing just burnt to death our defense, right? So we're going to go ahead and target the Gearing first. Why do we do that? It's not just see a destroyer, shoot a destroyer, but we are down on points, and we are almost certainly not going to make up the points lead. And this Gearing is likely to go around the cap and go into the other cap and try to take what cap we do have away from us. But we get a very good salvo here, and this is where I think if you are going to run the Preussen, this is the kind of range that you want to be in, this mid-range. Up close and personal is great, but mid-range is generally best, like right around 10 kilometers if you can pull it off. Now, I'm not saying go straight into 10 kilometers at the beginning of the match. You saw that I was playing pretty passively early, trying to feel out what's against us. But here we're going to get another shot up into the superstructure and guns. I was really hoping to knock his guns out here, but we get a good result. And he slaps me for my being over-angled, which is what we knew was going to happen. He gets his rear guns on me as well. And I'm pretty confident that he doesn't have his reload booster yet. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to aim. I'm not going to likely Citadel him at this range. If you've ever seen the Wisconsin Citadel, it's so far underwater it's ridiculous. But we do get a nasty hit. But this is exactly the kind of fight that the reload is going to give you a huge advantage. Now, he doesn't manage to kill us here, and we're going to make sure that we finish him off. So, good fight against the Wisconsin there, but now he is gone. That is a huge win for the team. Now, we are sonared right now by the Alaska that's in Bravo, who's reversing, and then there's the Hindenburg. And this Hindenburg, thankfully, is shooting HE at me. I couldn't have asked for better potential, because if it had been AP, that guy could have been a problem. The Hindenburg's AP is absolutely absurd for pinning and doing ridiculous amounts of damage per salvo. But you can see that the destroyer going behind Alpha isn't spotting us anymore, right? We know he was in Alpha. He just captured the base. I need to be ready to shoot the Alaska here. Unfortunately, once again, I don't have any spotting, so I can't see that the Alaska has already pushed into Bravo. Now, the reason I'm cutting over into Bravo here is twofold. One, I want to help my teammates get rid of the Alaska. And two, I want to make sure that I'm getting as far away from the Gearing as possible because he is something that I can't really counter. I don't have a sonar back yet, and I've already used all my sonars. But we get just robbed on the salvo against the Hindenburg here, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to beach myself to avoid incoming torpedoes because, let's be honest, why would he come out broadside for any other reason, right? He's probably trying to torp us. So, I go ahead and I beach, and then I realized he didn't launch torps, because I would have seen him, because he wasn't that far away, and when he didn't launch his torpedoes at me for some reason, then shockingly, the destroyer makes the dumbest call known to mankind. These guys are winning on points. They don't have to go full crazy mode. They don't. And if this guy just runs away, he wins the match. They have all of the caps. They have the points lead. But because he decides he wants to come in and slug it out, our destroyer goes down, but so did theirs. Or so did their cruiser. And now it's me and a cruiser versus their Gearing. And he immediately goes down. Why would you put yourself in that position to lose that match? It makes no sense. Tactically, he threw. And if I was his team, I'd be real upset, right? Like, his team did everything that they needed to do to try to win that match. And then it was all undone by one stupid play by a destroyer that couldn't read the points. All he had to do was look up, see he had the points lead, run away. He wins the match. But anyway, I thought this was a fun video. I think you guys kind of probably think the same thing I do. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree about the reload build. Do you think it's good enough accuracy to warrant a reload build? Or do you think that you prefer the accuracy build or a normal hide build for the Preussen? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.